Alrighty. Hello, everybody. Welcome in to another episode of the Full Send Half Mass Podcast, episode 138. Tonight, we got some fun stuff to talk about. We have the IndyCar season finale, IndyCar Indy NXT at Nashville. F1 was back this weekend at Zandvoort. We had a great race there. Can't wait to talk about that. As well as the beginning of the NASCAR playoffs for the Cup Series and the Truck Series at Darlington for the Southern 500 weekend, as well as Xfinity rocking it down in Portland this weekend with another dominant performance by the one and the only Mr. C Zilly, and a little bit of controversy to come with that as well. We'll talk about that with you guys tonight. We'll talk about a little bit of news relating to IndyCar that I want to update you guys on, as well as our driver of the week, bonehead of the week segments, as normal as we do every week for you guys to vote on. Once the podcast is up, those polls will be out to let you guys have your voice be heard to see who wins driver of the week and bonehead of the week this week. We'll also go over the standings in the Formula One World Championship standings, which have kind of taken a little bit of a change after this weekend's result, as well as the F1 constructor standings and the NASCAR playoff grid after this weekend's race at Darlington. And then to cap off this podcast, like we always do, we'll preview this upcoming week's races as we have Xfinity and Cup at Worldwide Technology Raceway Gateway St. Louis, as well as the World Endurance Championship is back for their seventh round of the season at Coda, and then the Formula One Grand Prix, the Italian Grand Prix at Monza. I'll give you my picks, my predictions, what to expect, my favorites, the dark horses, as well as some of the notable entries as well on this weekend's entry lists. And then round it out at the end with our every week NASCAR fantasy lineup for this weekend's race at Gateway. All right, let's start this podcast off with a little bit of IndyCar news. The season has wrapped up, and now we begin with the silly season and where people are going and what's going to be the outlook in 2026. First off, Will Power is out at Penske. Me and Tom talked about it on the podcast a couple weeks ago, especially with that interview that he had right there at Portland, where it sounded like he got canned. I mean, it really did. Sounded somber, like he was done. He was out at Penske, got fired. We I didn't really know if it was just I it's hard to speculate what was happening there, what was the reasoning, or what was the tone in that interview that he had. Well, it's official. He's out at Penske. So now the circulation continues. Where does Will Power go? Where's an opening for him? I don't know. It's gonna be interesting to see where he lands as a IndyCar champion, multiple race wins. I think he's third or fourth on the all-time win list. I mean, he's got tons of wins, championships. Uh, where does he land? I mean, he's in the twilight end of his career. He's in his 40s. I don't know where he's going to land, where he's going to end up. So that's going to be a speculation. Who takes over his ride at the 12 car at Penske? That's another big unknown question. David Malukas has been linked to that ride. There's been other people like VK now. Declines his extension with Dale Coyne. That's the second part of the news. Where does Dale Coyne go in the future? Is a 51 car that Jacob Abel's been driving is going to be rebranded to the 19 for next year. So that's interesting. Love the 18 and 19 back. Who's going to be that second guy over at Dale Coyne? Where does Renus VK go? Where does Will Power go? Who takes the 12 seat? Who takes the second Dale Coyne seat? I mean, what kind of shufflings are going to happen over the next few months and as we lead into that 2026 season, which is a long way away, unfortunately, with IndyCar. Wait until March again for that to kick back up. But there's going to be a lot of changes in IndyCar in 2026. I have a feeling Renus VK is going to land somewhere solid. He had a fantastic year with Del Coyne this year. He had some great glimpses of speed at multiple races this year, especially if you go back to that Barber race, with how freaking awesome he was there and how he ran up in the top three, top five all day long, finished fourth in that race. It'd be interesting to see where VK goes. I think this was a career-defining year for Renus VK with all the pressure kind of off. He went out and performed. So we'll see where he lands. Will Power, is this the end? Is it retirement? Does he find a ride? Does he find a seat? Who takes the 12 seat? Is it David Malukas? I don't know. I could keep rambling on. It's crazy. The IndyCar silly season has begun. All right, let's start recapping some of the races this weekend because boy, do we have some good ones. Saturday, the Xfinity Series at Portland. Uh, Dominant performance by Connor Zilic, as expected. I mean, we called it. Again, my big gripe with this whole race and everything is the non-competitive pit stops. I just don't. I think it's a bad look. I don't like it. Um, I just as a race of purists, I can't get my mind wrapped around the idea of having the second tier stock car racing series in the world basically having no competitive pit stops in a race. It just makes no sense to me whatsoever. Like I understand that the trucks and cup are over at a different place and most of them pit all the cars for all the series, but it's like, can we not have like the reserve team? Like me and Tom has mentioned that before. Each one of these teams has got to have like a reserve team, like a backup team. Like if somebody gets hurt, you plug and play. You bring a new guy in. You make rotations. Uh, is there not trained people that they could bring in like to pit these race cars? They don't have to be the top tier guys, but like, can we not have people come in there and pitting these race cars? I mean, I get it from the standpoint of you want to keep it competitive because obviously like the junior motorsports and the Haas factory teams of the world and the Gibbs racing and all this are going to have better options and have better people for these non-competitive situations compared to the other teams. But then you have that anyway at the top levels anyway. So it's just I don't get it, man. I just don't like the non-competitive pit stop aspect of the race. But what it did do, or what it did allow for, was for Zilich to sweep the stages. You rarely ever see on a road course the guy that wins the races ever has an opportunity to win both stages. Maybe they'll win one, if they got enough pace and enough gap built before the end of a stage break, or they pit early and then they run back through the field, or however it plays out. You sometimes see him win one, but you never see him win two and then win the state or win the race, which is what we saw with Zilich. So Zilich gains another 7 playoff points, another victory, won 7 of the last 8 if you include Daytona as well, which I do. It's a career win for Zilich, no matter how you look at it. Unbelievable. Unbelievable stuff by Zilich. He's setting himself up pretty much in prime opportunity to clinch this regular season championship. Justin Allgaier at the end of this race, which we'll talk about with this day now, is with the final restarts there. Allgaier gets taken out in that turn one incident. He gets turned around, so that's going to help Zilich immensely with the regular season championship. We'll take a look at the points maybe here in a little bit. Actually, let's just pull them up now. I should have maybe been a little bit more prepared. As we got one more race left in the Xfinity Series regular season. That's this weekend at Gateway. Uh, we'll look at the standings for the Xfinity Series now and see just how much of a gap Zilich has to Allgaier for this regular season championship. Right now, it's 20 points. 20-point gap for Zilich. So, man, that'll be huge. He gets another opportunity. I mean, he's got 211 stage points. I mean, that's incredible. Incredible. 43 playoff points. Wins regular season championship, that's another 10. I mean, he's gonna have a massive gap going into these playoffs. I mean, the next Allgaier's got 24 playoff points. The next guy after that's got 8. 8. I mean, this is lining up for be a Zilich championship. I mean, regardless of a Final Four at least, because you never know what's gonna happen at Phoenix. But Zilich, another dominant performance. There was a comical moment in this race with Sheldon Creed. I don't know if his tire went down before or if it went down in the process of, but he ended up going on a wild slide right through the grass on the S section down the back straightaway. I mean, that was absolutely hilarious. I mean, he's flying in there like a heat-seeking missile, as Dom would say, man. It was so funny to watch. And then you see the tires down. He's slipping and sliding. I mean, we saw a lot of guys sliding off the track, especially at the end with those late race restarts. We had what was it, Jack Perkins and the Gibbs car. He was stalled off in the grass somewhere. Sam Mayer went for a little slide or grass slide ride for a little bit. I mean, those late restarts were freaking wild, man. They were dumping each other, bumping into turn one, spinning each other around. It was absolutely nuts. And then I guess the controversy here is, and people are calling it an exploit or a cheat and all this, and I just don't see it that way. If you miss the chicane in turn one at Portland, they designed these A-frames that you basically navigate through them. And it's supposed to relatively be slower, right? In most circumstances, it's a way to kind of self-police, right? If you miss a chicane, you have to kind of do an alternate chicane and then blend back into the track. Well, the way it was designed, NASCAR designed it awful. It was awful design because it was faster than going through turn one, and that's what Slick did. I mean, he went to go to turn one, he wasn't gonna make it, or he's gonna get cleaned out. So he did the smart thing. He used the Joker lap alternate chicane, went through it, made it out the other end, and took the lead. I mean, and it was gone. I mean, we saw Chastain do that at Indianapolis a couple years ago, where There was no way he was gonna make turn one. There was just too many cars packed in there. They were all gonna pile up and wad up, and he ends up using the access route and ends up taking off with the lead and gets penalized for it all the way to the back of the field, which was at the time was just absolutely dumb that they did that to him. Big Daddy NASCAR crap right there. But like if you're going to put something in there as an option, you can't penalize somebody for using that option. I think Zilich read the rules, but executed it perfectly. I think there's nothing wrong with it. I think it was freaking awesome. Zilich is just far better than everybody else. Big brain move, and won the race. That's all there is to it, man. That's C Zilly, dog. That's what he does. That's who he is, man. He dominated this race, start to finish. Nobody had anything for him. They tried on those late race restarts with all the shenanigans and shuffling. They still couldn't beat him. It's just a fantastic job. He's gonna win this regular season championship. He's got 20-point gap over Allgaier going into the final race. I think he's gonna clinch it. He just has to have a solid day, get some stage points, and get a solid finish at the end. He's gonna be fine. So great job by Zilich this weekend. I wish I was there to see it in person. See Zilly fan. I think it's freaking awesome, dude. That how good he does. And again, I hope Trackhouse listening, but he better be in that 88 car next year in the Cup Series. SVG 97. Let's make it right. Let's make it real. Let's get the hype train going. All right, and then Saturday we also had the Truck Series race at um, Darlington. I didn't see this one live, but it looked like a great battle between Riggs and Heim all day long at the front of the field. One thing I don't understand though is on the highlight video that I watched, they had no report of what happened to Lane Riggs. He was running in the lead with like 30-25 to go when Kane Honeycutt ends up clearing himself off the front of Andres Perez down the front straightaway, which was absolutely asinine in itself. But then they cut forward to the restart, and Riggs is nowhere to be found. So if any of you guys have the update or know exactly what happened to Riggs, I would like to know. I don't want to have to go back and rewatch the end of that race just to find out. I should be able to get that off the highlight video, but apparently not. Typical NASCAR highlight video stuff. I'm telling you, I could do a better job than NASCAR making these highlight videos. I just would have liked to know what happened to Riggs, why he wasn't part of the equation. But Corey Heim wins again. Wins again. Locks himself into the round of 8, as we are in the round of 10 right now with the trucks. Next race is Bristol, which is the second race of this round. We'll see how it goes, but man, Corey Heim, he's just setting himself up. I mean, he wins the stage, he wins the race. That's 6 more playoff points for the next round. Dude, I just don't. There's no pathway for him not to make it to the final 4. Does he win the championship? Well, like I said, with Silich, getting to the final 4 is one thing. It's winning that final race, one race, winner take all BS crap that we have. Anybody can win it, you know. And the way it stands is it feels like it should be Zilich, it should be Heim to win the two championships. I mean, they're just head over heels better than everybody else. The teams are executing, the drivers are executing. Uh, but then with the one race thing, it's just it's a it's a crapshoot. Anybody can win it. One race. One race. I mean, you just got to be perfect one time. Be imperfect one time, and it's over. I mean, it's just. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. But Corey Heim wins again, locks himself into the round of 8. We'll see how his championship progression continues. As I think he's a definite lock, especially with the 6 more playoff points. I mean, he's going into this next round with a massive gap. I mean, it's just going to be unless he has like 3 abysmal races. I just don't see how he's not going to be able to advance. I mean, it's unbelievable the type of season. It's historic, record breaking stuff, man. All right, yeah. Next, let's talk about Formula One. It is back, summer break. Coming in to this race, we had the 9-point gap for the world championship between Oscar Piastri and Lando Norris. They both qualify in the front row. Opening lap, though, can't go Lando shows up once again. I mean, the initial start, he gets a terrible initial start. Piastri cuts off, or basically closes off the lane to Lando, but Lando didn't go anyway, so Piastri didn't really have to do that. But then Verstappen just sends it around the outside, ends up getting real loose and squirrely. I think like on that left-hander before they went to the little bank turn. Somehow saved it. Unbelievable save by Verstappen. But he takes advantage of Norris. Norris, at this point, Piastri, it's his race to lose. And Verstappen is holding him off for a little bit, and then eventually Norris gets by. But it was like basically Piastri kind of sealed it at that point by being able to get that good restart. Lando Norris choking. So worst case, he'd have left with a 16-point gap again, which is what it looked like it was going to be. Then his engine expires late in the race. The 34-point gap now. Sucks to suck. Lando Norris. Oh man, he's down bad, guys. These Lando Norris fans are down bad right now. 34-point gap. That's a race. That's two races to make up. I mean, Piastri's man. I just don't see how Piastri doesn't win this world championship at this point. Uh, that's poetic justice, man. With all of the team shenanigans and all of the prioritizing of Lando Norris this season, he's the one that has the engine failure. Can you imagine if that was Piastri? I mean, tinfoil hat would be on, but it would have to be Lando. That's so funny, man. That's poetic justice, dude. We had some interesting stuff in this race though. Both Ferraris wrecked in the same point. Lando or first it was Lewis Hamilton coming to the bank turn. Ends up having a terrible exit. Ends up getting up into the barrier there. Uh, Destroys his race. Destroys his car. And then we saw later in the race, we saw Kimi Antonelli make a dive bomb move on Charles Leclerc in that same spot, and ends up turning Leclerc around and putting him in the wall. I don't understand what Kimi Antonelli was doing there. Um, I don't know, man. That's gonna be a bonehead of the week nominee for me. I just don't understand. I don't understand what Kimi Antonelli was doing there. I mean, he had the inside leverage of that on that corner, but you still got to be able to give the guy on the outside a racing room, and he just didn't. Like they just kind of converged. It was really odd incident. I think it's a bad look for Kimi Antonelli. He's had some impressive runs. He's shown a lot of pace. He's been pretty relevant with his teammate George Russell, which is what you want to see out of a rookie, especially with somebody that's as touted and basically claimed to be like the next kind of Verstappen-esque driver. I didn't like that move. I didn't like it. It just changes now. The constructor championship, which we'll talk about here in a little bit, but now Ferrari has a 12-point gap over Mercedes now. So Mercedes closed the gap. So for that P2, so Ferrari really had a bad weekend. Uh, Also, Carlos Sainz gets a penalty with contact with Lawson. 10-second penalty. I think that's a little bogus. That's a Big Daddy FIA, Big Daddy Formula One stuff right there. That contact was not egregious at all, in my opinion. I just I don't get it, man. We've seen good racing before in Formula One where they let certain stuff slide, but the fact that they're gonna give Sainz a penalty on this light contact in a racing deal, 10-second penalty. Come on. I mean, it's not gonna hurt in points or anything, but it's just unnecessary. I guess is what I'm trying to say. Also, uh, where's that? Isaac Hadjar. Isaac Hadjar, man. What a freaking race Isaac Hadjar had. Qualified up front, ran fourth basically all day long, right behind the two McLarens and Verstappen. And then when Lando had his engine failure, Hadjar moves up into that podium position, finishes P3. A career race for Isaac Hadjar this weekend. Uh, he had a great run at Monaco. That was probably his best flash this year. He's had a lot of bad races. He's had lots of wrecks. I look back at the opening race. Didn't even get to take the green at Australia because he wrecked under the safety car conditions of the formation lap. It was a rough look there at the beginning. Kind of leading the charge there at the RB Cash App buy one get one free Red Bull Racing Bulls Toro Rosso team. It cracks up saying that every time. But he's been outperforming Lawson. And Lawson, if you guys remember, was in that Red Bull seat to start the year. Like he was supposed to be the guy to be the second fiddle to Verstappen at Red Bull. And he gets demoted. They move Sonoda up. Sonoda hasn't been running any better. Lawson really hasn't been running any better. And Hadjar's kind of been holding the banner there for the RB buy one get one free cash out Toro Rosso Racing Bulls Saudi or AlphaTauri team. I crack myself up. Oh man. But yeah, he's with a great job, with a great race. I mean, basically a career drive, in my opinion. I mean, doomed to potentially be in that Red Bull. Which there's a lot of speculation. There's speculation that Colton Herta is going to be going to Formula 2 next year. There's speculation that our Red Bull has reached out to Alex Palou for the second seat. There's a lot of shakeups. We have obviously Bottas and Perez, which we announced last week on the podcast that they're going to be for Cadillac. I don't know, man. Where's Hadjar kind of playing this whole deal, with RB get one free, Like, where does he play in? But regardless, a great performance, great weekend for him, great qualifying effort, put it together in the race. The strategy was there, avoided trouble, avoided having any incidents, no bad pit stops, no pet points, nothing bad happened. Like he just put together a solid P3 run. Congratulations to him. He will be a nominee for driver of the week. So I'm curious to see what you guys say. And like I said, with the World Championship, Piastri now has a 34-point lead. That's 2 races for Lando Norris to make up at this point. If he, I mean, even if he wins and Piastri finishes second for like the next, it'd have to be 5 races in a row that Norris would have to win and Piastri would finish second. If Piastri finished second for him to take the World Championship lead. That's a big mountain to climb. I think Piastri's in a good position, barring any mechanical issues, because we very well we could see this weekend at Monza. We could very well see Piastri have an engine issue, just like we saw with Lando, and boom, Lando's right back in it. I hope or I foresee that not happening. Something like a one-off thing with their power unit with this engine failure. But who knows? Maybe there's some gremlins. Maybe something will happen and change. And it'll be Piastri next week. I don't know. I don't know. Cross the fingers. Excuse me. When it comes to constructor standings, Ferrari is still sitting in that P2 position, but that gap got shrunk down to 12 points to Mercedes. Mercedes making up ground. They could thank Kimi Antonelli, I guess, kind of doing the team play there and wiping out Charles Leclerc, and then Hamilton obviously having his crash, shrunk it down to 12, and then Red Bull, they've kind of closed back in there as well, as they're only 46 points off of Ferrari for that second, the constructor standing. So it's real tight there at the top between those 3 teams. Obviously, McLaren's long gone and away with it. But the battle for P2 is still up and fighting. We'll see how it shakes out this weekend at Monza. I'll give you my predictions here in a little bit at the end of this podcast when we start previewing that race. But it's going to be an interesting fight to the end. It's looking like Piastri, barring any incidents, cross your fingers and knock on wood, he's going to be able to not have any issues and be able to secure this world championship, because there's nothing I would hate to see more than to see Lando win the world championship. He's just not as good. He's just not him. It's not him. And to see Zach Brown have to eat it and give Piastri the world championship, that'd be freaking hilarious. Alrighty, Indy NXT. Oh, excuse me. Indy NXT this week of the Music City Grand Prix, the finale. Dennis Hauger. Congratulations, Dennis Hauger. Ends up clinching the championship this weekend. He's going to get that scholarship for IndyCar next year. That's another person to throw into the mix. If potentially Alex Palou goes to F1, Will Power finds a ride, if Renus VK finds a ride, who goes to the Second Coin car. Where does Hauger place into this with that contract? He's with an Andretti driver. Where does he get leased to? Rumors are him being linked to that Juncos team on a 1-year lease. There's going to be a lot of shakeups. Silly season IndyCar is going to be wild this year. But Dennis Hauger does clinch the championship and the scholarship for IndyCar next year. So congratulations to him. Came in dominant. Dominant. Just absolutely didn't matter where they went. He was fast. He was fast on ovals. He was fast on any of the road and street courses. Dennis Hauger is going to be a threat. Probably the most dominant in Indy NXT Championship we've seen in a while, because last year we had a great battle between obviously Abel and Foster, and then the year before that we had Rasmussen and Siegel. All 4 of them are now in IndyCar, so it'll be interesting to see where Hauger kind of fits into that puzzle. Congratulations to Miles Rowe. Oh man, goodness gracious, to Miles Rowe with another win, 2 wins on ovals this year. Wins the finale. I'm excited to see what his 2026 can bring. I've been high on this guy ever since he got into Indiana NXT. I picked him as my dark horse for the longest time till he finally won a race earlier this year. Exceptional drive. He had the fastest car. He battled side by side with D Orlando there for a while. They were wheel to wheel, tire to tire for 10, 15 laps. that was exciting racing. Neither of them were giving up that position. And then eventually he started moving through the field at the end there. It looked like Salvador De Alba was going to win this race and go back-to-back on these ovals. And then all of a sudden, here comes Miles Rowe late in that race, ends up taking the lead. And they set sail, man. Absolutely set sail. Put on an absolute performance. He's coming back with HMD next year, which we know HMD is actually going to be downsizing next year to less cars. They're going from like 9 cars down to like 4 cars next year. So that's 5 less seats open in Indy NXT. Miles Rowe secured that seat. He's going to be there next year, and he's going to continue this fight for the championship next year. He could be the guy to beat for the 2026 Indy NXT Championship. Him, Lockie Hughes will be back. We'll see what he could do. Salvador De Alba kind of found some speed at the end, and then obviously there's going to be some more newcomers. Who's the next Dennis Hauger that comes over to Indy NXT and shakes up the waves. I mean, it was an exciting Indy NXT season. We saw a little bit of parity. We saw obviously Kyle Collette win races. We saw Dennis Hauger dominate and win races. We saw Lockie Hughes win races. Miles Rowe win races. Salvador De Alba won a race right at the end. So it's gonna be interesting. All of those guys are gonna be coming back for that core group of championship contenders minus Dennis Hauger. It's gonna be interesting to see where Lockie Hughes, Miles Rowe, Salvador De Alba, and Kyle Collette all kind of play into that equation for the Indy NXT Championship next year. It's gonna be fun to watch. I'm excited. Another great year for Indy NXT. I think it's a very underrated, slept-on racing series. They have great races. It was fun to watch this weekend, and the cars just look cool, man. I'm not gonna lie. I think those Indy NXT cars look freaking sick, man. They're fun to watch. So, all right, now let's move on to the IndyCar race, the Bourbon Music City Grand Prix in Nashville. Christian Rasmussen off the highest of highs with that fantastic performance he had in the last race at Milwaukee, ends up absolutely shitting the bed on lap one. Gets into that. He starts in the back of the field, gets into some of that aero wash, ends up wrecking into off of turn two on the first lap of the race. I mean, imagine going from the highest of highs to lowest of lows just that quick, man. You're on top of the world, first IndyCar win, and then you don't even make it one lap in the finale this year. That was unfortunate. I don't know if he would have had anything at the front of the field. He didn't qualify well. Didn't look like he had the speed in his car through practice and everything. But man, he's exciting and fun to watch on those ovals. So it would have been interesting to see where he could have placed or what he could have done, what kind of moves he could have made and put on a show for everybody. But that was unfortunate that ended early. The big incident for me here, Louis Foster and David Malukas. I don't really know who to put the blame on here. I really don't. I mean, David Malukas is is to the outside. Louis Foster's to the inside. It appears that Malukas comes down the track kind of like the normal arc into the corner. Louis Foster's there. I don't understand why Louis Foster didn't concede that position, because that's not a really good spot to make a pass. You're not side by side. You basically just have your right front tire kind of in there on the inside, but you're not really committed. And then stays committed and then takes out Malukas. Malukas ends up going to the wall, ends his race. I watched it back and I honestly don't understand the thinking on both drivers. I guess I understand the thinking a little bit of Malukas. Like, you're making the normal arc into the corner. You want to have that inside leverage and then be able to have that position, and you assume the guy to the inside is going to get seed. If you're Foster, I guess he's thinking, I'm to the inside. I'm going to be able to make this corner. He's maybe not expecting Malukas to come down. That early in the race, too, it didn't feel like a good opportunity for either. It was a non-win situation for both drivers. Let's put it that way. It was a non-win for Malukas, because he's basically putting faith in Louis Foster that he's going to concede the position in the corner. And then it's a no-win situation for Foster because he's trying to make the pass, but he's not fully to the inside, keeps his nose in it. So it gets a penalty. Malukas gets wrecked. It was just a no-win situation for both guys. And it's unfortunate because Malukas, I felt like, had a good piece in this race. It felt like Malukas was going to have a chance to compete for the win. And another fast car, another great opportunity, washed for Malukas. The Malukas Comeback Tour this year was a great, valiant effort. He had a lot of great performances, just never was able to seal the deal on any of these runs. I mean, Indy 500 just was so close, didn't seal it. Didn't seal it on any of these ovals. He had great cars at both Milwaukee. He had a great car at Gateway. Had another great car here at Nashville. Just seemed like he was just right there. They just never could close the deal and get her done. So that was unfortunate. Pat O'Ward leading the race late in this race too. Leading as the tire go down right into the wall. Ends his day. Tough way to end a year for Pat O'Ward. He did get a win at Iowa earlier this year, but damn, what a tough way to end the year for him. Leading the race. Looked like he was going to win it. Looked like he had the best car. Looked like he had the best car late in this race. It was pretty damn quick. He had the lead. He was controlling the race, and then the tire went down. I mean, just the biggest unfortunate thing. We've seen it a lot in IndyCar in this season even. I mean, I remember when Newgarden had leading the race and ended up getting wrecked with the late yellow. Then we saw Will Power have a tire issue from like first or second earlier this year at one of the ovals. That was super unfortunate there for Pat O'Ward. But Joseph Newgarden gets the win. Gets a win this season. I didn't think it was gonna happen. I honestly didn't think Penske was gonna win a race at all. I said this months ago. So after the Indy 500 debacle and how bad they've been running, like they ain't gonna win a race this year. Penske isn't. Well, Will Power goes out and wins Portland, and then Joseph Newgarden gets the finale here at Nashville. Oh, front of his home crowd and his home race, ends up going and celebrates in the crowd like he does at Indy. That was cool to watch, man. Actually, I feel like Penske, you can't write him off, man. Like you just can't write him off. Like I wrote him off. I said they were done, and then they go out and win two of the last three races and prove me completely wrong. So, I mean, kudos to them for doing what they did. Sucks for Scotty Mack, didn't get a win this year. It was just a rough year for Penske. I mean, it really was. I mean, the bad lack of performance, the penalties at Indianapolis, the firings, the crashes, uh, the misfortune. I said Newgarden almost won Gateway. He ends up getting wrecked at the late yellow with the lap car wrecking in front of him. Had nowhere to go. I mean, just one of those weird years for Penske, but they did find a way to kind of like close the season out on a high note with Willpower winning and then with Newgarden winning. Now the shakeups in the offseason, what are they going to do to shake things around in the program? To put people in the right places, get the right engineers hired, to be able to orchestrate these three teams to be quality for 2026 because of all the drama and controversy that surrounded Penske this year. I think they're going to be glad to put this year behind them. They're going to leave the season with two of the last three wins. They're going to be able to build upon that, put the cloud of 2025 behind them. I think they're going to come back bigger and better and stronger than ever in 2026. You can't count them out. Who drives the 12 car next year? Is it David Malukas? Obviously, Scotty Mack's got to turn it around. He was my championship favorite coming in the year. I thought if anybody could dethrone Alex Palou, it felt like this was the year for McLaughlin. Last year, he should have won the championship, McLaughlin. It's too many mistakes. Too many mistakes. There was so many little incidents like the Detroit incident with him and Will Power, the Laguna Seca incident with him and Will Power. The Indy 500 didn't go his way when he felt like he had the best car. They didn't make the right adjustments into the race. I mean, just so many things last year prevented Scotty Mack from winning a championship, and then this year was just abysmal. Newgarden had everything under the sun go wrong for him this year. Trying to triple P at Indianapolis didn't happen with the clouded penalty and everything that happened around that, surrounding that. Leading at Gateway, getting wrecked. I mean, there's just so many things that went wrong for Penske this year. It was good to see them finally kind of put some of those woes behind them and get this finale win. And then obviously, don't even have to bet you, but Palou had certainly still the championship. But congratulations to Palou. What a freaking awesome year again for Palou. He was a threat in every race this year. Every single race. That was unbelievable. It gets the Indy 500 win. Now, again, the rumors are starting with him to Red Bull in Formula One. As a racing fan, I would absolutely love to see Palou in Formula One against Max Verstappen in a Red Bull. But then the realist part of me is like, those Red Bulls aren't that good. And I don't want Palou to go to F1 and get embarrassed and taint the outlook of IndyCar around the world, because that's what it is, man. It's like when these IndyCar guys go to Formula One, if they're not with a great team, they don't run good, and then it completely clowns the series. I don't want IndyCar's best driver to go to F1 and not be competitive. It's simple as that. But then the racing fan in me is like, this is a dream scenario. I've been talking about this for the last 3 years. I would love to see Palou in F1, especially in a team competitive like with like a Max Verstappen, and put the best two drivers in the world, in my opinion, against each other head to head in equal equipment. It just sounds like a dream scenario, giving Alex Palou an opportunity to potentially be the guy that goes for that triple crown. That's something that's only been done one time. Asterisk to Andretti, asterisk to Montoya. Mario Andretti, asterisk to Montoya, and Mario Andretti finished second at Le Mans. Montoya won Le Mans, but it was in the second tier class, so it didn't technically count for the Triple Crown. But Palou's got the Indy 500 now. He can go win at Monaco, and they get Le Mans. And he's been competitive at Le Mans. I felt like he was going to win it there in 2023 there for a while, man. I was like, if a freaking caution happens at the right time, then Logan could win Le Mans. It just would have been a great storyline. He would have had two legs done, and then with the prospects of Formula One, I don't know. We'll see, man. I I just want to see Pelot be successful. I would love to see somebody accomplish a triple crown. That's something I don't think will ever happen again. But like, if there's anybody that's got an opportunity or a chance or could do it, it's Max Verstappen or it's Alex Palou. It's one of those two guys could be that triple crown guy. Will we ever see Verstappen ever go run at Indianapolis? I don't know. Will we ever see Palou get their chance at F1? I don't know. Those are the two biggest unknowns at this point. Uh, the 24-hour Le Mans one is kind of like the freebie. Well, it's not the freebie. Like it's I say that in the extent that like anybody will get a chance to go do that eventually, right? As long as the scheduling works out where they don't put it on the same weekend as one of the other major races or like Formula 1 and IndyCar shouldn't be racing on the same day as Le Mans. Monaco shouldn't be the same day as Indy 500. Indy 500, like none of them should be horse or like there should be no F1 race on the same day as the Indy 500. There should be no IndyCar race during Monaco. There should be no like, you know what I mean, or like during Le Mans. It's just the way I feel. But there's a lot of changes that need to be happening in motorsport schedules. But that's one of them. Great season with IndyCar. I think Fox nailed it this year. Will Buxton, fantastic play-by-play guy. James Hinchcliffe and Townsend Bell are just fantastic guys on the broadcast. They're just so much fun to listen to. I'm excited to see what Fox does next year. I think they're going to be able to build upon. There was a few things early in the season that we talked about, like the push to pass. That was the HUD. It was kind of messed up at the beginning. They eventually kind of worked through some of that and fixed that as we progressed through the season. They listened to some of the criticism and feedback. Um, I think it was just a fantastic year. I think Fox did a great job. I'm excited to see what they do next year and the broadcasting of IndyCar. IndyCar's on the rise, man. It was a fantastic season. Great season for IndyCar racing. Great season for IndyCar fans. Great season for racing fans in a whole. Can't wait for 2026 and all this silly season stuff, boys. Man, these next few weeks of podcasts are going to be fun to unravel a lot of this, especially during the off season and figure out where everybody goes. We will be doing a full IndyCar driver grade podcast here in a few weeks. I'll have to coordinate with Tom, see when he'll be available to jump on the podcast. But that's kind of our plan is to do a full IndyCar season grade recap for 2025. So stay tuned. All right, let's just briefly go over the ARCA race. Brent Cruz again dominates another ARCA race, ends up wrecking with like 8 laps to go out of P2. That was unfortunate. But Brendan Queed, man, Butterbean wins again in ARCA. This dude's unbelievable. He's unstoppable. He's winning on dirt, winning on super speedways, winning at intermediate, short tracks. He can win everywhere. I'm excited to see what Brendan Queen does in 2026. I feel like he needs an opportunity at trucks, Xfinity, something. He needs to have an opportunity somewhere because I think he's going to be that next guy to kind of. He's like following kind of that Ryan Preece-esque route to Cup Series, Josh Berry-esque route, Caden Honeycutt-esque route. I mean, there's a lot of these guys that are just kind of grinding it out at the local regional levels, man, and they're making it big time in the Cup Series. And I feel like that's how it was designed to be from the first place. It wasn't supposed to be like these wealthy kids that just like kind of grind their way through with money. It's like supposed to be these guys that didn't really have those opportunities, and then they get those opportunities and they make the best of it. And I think Brendan Queen's doing that this year. Fun to watch. Another big win for him this weekend. All right, the final race of the weekend, we have the Cookout Southern 500. Can we talk? Speaking of Josh Berry, I mean, what an absolute clown this guy is. I can't believe this, man. He just absolutely just destroys his car on lap 1 of the Southern 500. Playoffs on the line, championship on the line, big moment, and just absolutely flops like a complete fish, man. I mean, coming off of turn 2, gets loose and then just wrecks. Tags Reddick. Reddick is lucky, man. That could have been catastrophic for that team. Somehow just barely made any contact, saved the race car. The car was pretty much fine. He ran up top 3, top 5 all day. Even contended for the win late with Chase Briscoe, which, again, Chase Briscoe dominated this race. Qualified up front. Nobody had anything for him, even on restart. Strategy was executed perfectly. Their pit stops were unbelievable. I don't think they had one bad pit stop all race. I mean, I was just waiting for it all day long. I was like, when are they going to make a mistake? When's the mistake coming to prevent Briscoe from winning this race? And then, boom, never came. I mean, I said it last week. I said Briscoe was going to make a run in this playoffs. I think Briscoe and Bubba are the two guys to watch in this playoffs. I think those are the two biggest dark horse threats for the championship this year. And they proved it. I mean, Bubba ran P6 this weekend, ran P10 all day. Briscoe dominates the race, wins both stages, locks himself into the round of 12. He doesn't have to worry about Gateway. Doesn't have to worry about Bristol. He's locked in. That's huge. I'm not a huge Chase Briscoe fan. I'm not a huge Chase Briscoe believer. Uh, but he's in the right situation, man. I mean, it really comes down to team and car, and he's with the right team. He's in a fast car. He's executing in qualifying. I think that's his biggest strength. And I said that that's why Briscoe's going to make a run. I said it last week on the podcast. His ability to qualify is going and stay up front is going to allow him to advance deep into these playoffs because getting those stage points and those stage wins is huge, huge. And not only that, if you don't make any mistakes, you're going to guarantee yourself at least a top five, if not win. And that's what we saw this weekend at Darlington. Uh, Abysmal day again for Josh Berry, like I said, with the wreck. But also Alex Bowman. That 48 team's cooked. I don't know what's going on over there. They had a pit stop that took more time to than the Stone Age, ellipsing to the 21st century. I mean, that was the longest damn pit stop. I mean, it was like watching paint dry. I mean, that was freaking abysmal and pathetic, man. That 48 team should be ashamed. I think people should be fired after that whole debacle. The biggest moment, the championship on the line, and you go out and lay an egg like that at Darlington, going next to Gateway, which has historically been a terrible track for Hendrick Motorsports, and then off to Bristol, where he's going to be in a must-win situation. That team's cooked, man. Not only last year did they freaking not fire Blake Harris after that debacle at the Roval, then they have this debacle with the pit crew. I mean, that 48 team is in shambles, dysfunctional as hell. They're screwed, man. They're lucky they made the playoffs. If it wasn't for freaking Ryan Blaney being freaking Ryan freaking Blaney, man, the 48 team wouldn't be in the playoffs. I just had to get that off my chest. Bowman's cooked, man. His career is winding down, man. It's just the Blake Harris is a terrible hire for crew chief. The guy doesn't know what the hell he's doing. Uh, and then on top of that, having the worst pit crew on the team. Bowman can't clutch up in big moments. He had that race at Homestead he should have won, couldn't clutch it. Doesn't have that team doesn't have the consistent speed anywhere they go. They have so many freaking holes in that ship. It's unbelievable. It's being held together by paper, man. It's a paper freaking boat hole, man. That's crazy. But yeah, their playoffs are cooked. Great runs by a lot of other playoff guys. Chase Elliott had a bad run. SVG a bad run. I don't think SVG is going to advance out of this round. Right now, he's currently 3 points above the cut line. Elliott's 9 points above the cut line. Logano's 3 points back, and not a good race for Logano, but he's got a big one coming up this weekend. And then Austin Dillon's 8 points back. I just didn't think he was going to advance anyway. Barry's 19 back with the wreck. I didn't think he was going to advance anyway. I said SVG, Dillon. I said Barry. Those were three guys I had eliminated. I kind of had a feeling that it was going to be like Cindric or Logano or I don't know. Name a guy that could be eliminated, like Reddick maybe. But it looks like it's going to be Bowman. Bowman's 19 back. Barry's 19 back. They're both going to be pretty much in must-win situations from here on out. We'll see how that plays out. Elliott, SVG, they've got to do some soul searching. SVG did not have a great run. Without getting stage points, man, with the Elliott and SVG, they're not going to make it in these playoffs. They've got to get stage points. And the stage points are huge. They didn't get them this weekend. So that's kind of the outlook there for the point standings. We'll see how that shakes out up this upcoming weekend at Gateway for round 2, or race 2 of round 1. And that's where we're at now with this podcast. It's time to make our predictions and preview this weekend's races with the Xfinity Cup Series at Worldwide Technology Gateway, World Dirt Championship at Coda, Formula 1 at Monza for the Italian Grand Prix. I'll give you all my predictions, my favorite dark horses, and what to expect this weekend. Xfinity Series notable entries. This is a good entry list here. Daniel Hemrick going to be returning to Call League in the Xfinity Series in the number 11. Corey Day with Hendrick Motorsports in the 17. Eric Almirola with the number 19 at JGR. Jordy Anderson, old Jordy, he'll be in the number 32 for his own team this weekend. LeVar Scott making a call up to the Xfinity Series this weekend in the number 45 for Alpha Prime. Annunziati with number 70 for Cope again this weekend. Cole Raz with AM Racing in the 76 this weekend. We'll see how he can do. And then Matt Mills, he'll be driving the number 91 for DGM. All right, speaking about Xfinity, it's time to make our predictions for the Xfinity Series New Way 200 at Worldwide Technology Raceway Gateway, St. Louis. I'm going with Zilich in this race. The momentum is real, man. I mean, this team is absolutely unbelievable. Doesn't matter who they put behind that wheel of that car. They're fast, specifically with Zilich. Zilich is just incredible. I think the pressure's kind of off, right? He's got all these playoff points in the bag. He's got a 20-point lead in the in the regular season standings. He can clinch the regular season championship this weekend. I think the pressure's off, and I feel like if the pressure's off Zilich for this one weekend, I feel like that's a big plus, big bonus. He hasn't ran Gateway before. It's gonna be interesting to see how that kind of plays out. But he learns fast, man. When he goes to these places, he just has the speed. I feel like he's gonna have good qualifying speed. If he can qualify up front, he's gonna win some stage or get some stage points, potentially win a stage. Uh, kind of pad that gap a little bit to Allgaier to clinch his regular season championship. And if he could do that by the end of stage two, a big enough points where worst case scenario finishes like 10th and he clinches it or whatever, you know what I mean? I think the pressure will be off. I think Zilich can be an absolute threat to win this weekend. My dark horse, I think it'd be awesome to see this happen. It's the final race of the regular season. There's still spots available to the playoffs. Can you imagine? Let's just put this in perspective. Can you imagine if Ryan Sieg goes out and clinches his spot into the playoffs, his first career win, all in one night with a big win at Gateway? I don't think it's going to happen, but damn, that'd be sick. And that's why I'm going to pick him as a dark horse. I'm trying to put that good juju in the air, trying to put those good vibes. I would love to see Sieg shake it up and play spoiler this weekend and steal a spot for those playoffs in the Xfinity Series this weekend. What to expect also, I mean, what does Allgaier do to kind of clinch the regular season championship? 20-point gap. That means he's got to qualify really well, get some stage points early, like potentially win both stages. I mean, I feel like that's what he's going to have to do. And then he's going to have to run up front in top 5 and put the pressure on Zilich late in this race. I mean, that's really the only chance he has. It'll be interesting to see. Do we see any desperation out of some of these guys on the cut line? Interesting race to end a regular season at Gateway. I think it's going to be an interesting race. I mean, Gateway's kind of a fun track. Not going to lie. It's kind of a fun track. Xfinity cars are awesome. We could see a little bit of strategy at the end of this race. Let's say we get a caution late. We're going to see some gamblers and takers, man. I don't know. If your whole season comes down to this, winning your in system, man, what are you willing to do late in this race? We might see some shenanigans, might see some drama. I think this can be a must-watch TV race, especially consider everything on the line. Regular season championship still up for grabs. The playoffs are still up for grabs. Open spots available. A new winner could spoil the party. It's going to be fun to watch. Oh, excuse me. Gosh, got the yawns, boys. Alrighty. And then Sunday for the Formula One Italian Grand Prix. I knocked on wood, crossed my fingers. I think Piastri's gonna be fine this week. This is a track that's centered around speed. And we've seen Ferrari have lots of speed here in the past. This is their home Grand Prix. They're gonna put all of their marbles into this race. But the fastest car on the grid right now is a McLaren. I just don't see how anybody could beat it right now. Like, what I'm saying is, if we were going to see changes or we're going to see teams start to run faster, it was going to be after the summer break. I think a lot of these other teams have kind of checked out. The new regulation 2026 is coming out. I don't think there's a lot more development left in this car. I think everybody's pretty much tapped out and done. They've conceded the Constructors' Championship. It just depends on what kind of games that Ferrari, Mercedes, and Red Bull want to play here to kind of get themselves the higher in the echelon in the constructor standings. What are they willing to do? What kind of research and money are they willing to spend? I don't know. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting to see how important it is for the money to finish in this second to fourth range between those three teams, because it's so tight between them right now. Part of me wants to lean towards Ferrari this weekend, but you can't. Unless you see it, you can't believe it. And I just feel like this is a Piastri-esque race, man. McLaren, I feel like McLaren's gonna win. Piastri is gonna outqualify Lando like he always does. The only way he loses is if he makes a mistake, has a car failure, or McLaren just completely screws him with strategy. I just don't see any other way. I'm taking Piastri this weekend. I'm taking the low-hanging fruit. I gotta see it to believe it for another team to take advantage of McLaren. McLaren has maximized what this regulation car is right now. Nobody else is trying to upgrade to beat them. I feel like at this point, I think it just plays into favor of McLaren. My dark horse, man, if I'd have picked Hydra last week, I would have looked looked like a genius. But I don't think we're gonna see another repeat performance like that out of the RB Visa, RB buy one get one free Toro Rosso AlphaTauri Racing Bulls team. I think we're gonna see. I'm gonna take Hulkenberg. I'm gonna take Hulkenberg. We saw him get that podium earlier this year. Why not, man? Why not? Those Albans have been impressive. It's their freaking send off tour. Momentum's a real thing, man. And they've been having it this year, dude. I'd love to see Hulkamania have a great run this weekend. I'll take him as my dark horse. I think it's gonna be a fun race. I don't think we're gonna see a lot of passing. Obviously, it's Monza. It's just a freaking speed demon racetrack. It'd be interesting to see how the strategy plays out. That's really all it's gonna be. And really the unknown is who's going to have any more development left in their car, who's gonna do anything different. How much does Ferrari care about winning at the Italian Grand Prix? That's gonna be big, man. Ferrari winning the Italian Grand Prix is huge deal. And what are they willing to do to get it done? It'll be fun to see and fun to watch. Alrighty. The World Dart Championship is back this week, time at Coda for the Lone Star Lone Star Le Mans. Let's get that right. The American version of the World Endurance Championship, the American stretch. Let's talk about last year. Last year we saw the number 83 Ferrari. Of course, the team ended up winning this race. Dominant performance. This year, let's put it in perspective. Ferrari's dominating. They've been dominant. I mean, they've won just about every damn race. Whether it's the 50 car, the 51, or the AF Corsa Works team, they've just been dominant. I just don't see anybody else competing with them. The BOPs are always so light on the Ferraris. Everybody else gets hit with harder and harder BOPs. RIP Toyota, RIP Peugeot. You know what I mean? RIP BMW. Like, all these teams have been getting hit with all these harsh penalties. But the unknown here, excuse me, is Cadillac. Cadillac won the last round, showing a lot of speed. We see Cadillac compete. Can you imagine Cadillac, the American manufacturer, at the American leg of the World Endurance Championship? It wouldn't be that far off. Wouldn't be a bad pick, but I can't do it. I'm going with a repeat winner. I'm going with the back-to-back for the number 83A. Of course, the team to win in Hypercar. The speed they had last year is unbelievable. I just don't. The speed of the car, the light VLPs, the speed they had last year, the returning of all the drivers that were part of that team last year. I just don't see how they could lose this race. I feel like it's an AF Corsa win all day, every day. My dark horse, I'm gonna go with the number 36 Alpine. We've had some good flashes of excellence this year. I love Jules Gannon is like a freaking beast race car driver, one of my favorite race car drivers. He's with that team. Mick Schumacher's been having a good year. It'd be interesting to see what that Alpine team could do this weekend. They had a good performance here, I believe, last year as well, where they was one of their standout performances besides the one at Le Mans, where they kind of threw that one away. I think this is a good opportunity to see what Alpine can do. They're building something there, man. I feel like they're getting faster. I feel like they got the right drivers. The BOPs haven't been too tough on Alpine so far. I could see Alpine with the top 5 in this race. I'm gonna go specifically at that number 36 with Jules Gannon and with Mick Schumacher. I think that's good. That's a good dark horse pick this weekend. And then in LMGT3, I'm taking the number 27 Harder Racing Aston Martin. If you guys watched this race last year, I mean, that performance that Aston Martin put together was unfreaking believable, man. They were dead to rights faster than everybody by a long shot. I mean, it was dominant run. Unbelievable run by Aston Martin last year. I just don't see, if with everything kind of the same, the rotating BOPs and everything, I mean, Aston really hasn't been hit too hard with the BOPs. I've been looking at some of the BOPs, and it's just like they've kind of got a lighter BOP, and they haven't had the performance anywhere else. If they could repeat what they did last year at Coda, even if they do it to a microscopic level, they're going to win this race. They will dominate this freaking race, man. They are unbelievably fast there. I expect them to run up front and control it. I just don't see who else is going to be able to compete with it. My dark horse pick, though, I'm sticking with it until they finally win one. And just because I'm a huge Valentino Rossi fan, he's just freaking cinema behind the wheel. Every time he's behind the wheel, he should just have a camera locked onto him. He just does crazy, brave, bold moves, has pace, lacking maybe a little bit of racecraft, but I think that comes with experience, and I think he's getting better at that. I would love to, and his teammates have kind of choked him too. They've kind of bricked him a little bit. So I'm gonna go with the number 46 BMW this weekend. BMW's been the worldwide bad boy this year in GT3, man. They've had a lot of run-ins with a lot of teams uh, in both World Endurance Championship and IMSA. So it'd be interesting to see if they could do something this weekend. Maybe they can upset that Aston Martin party, and maybe Valentino Rossi can hold that winner's trophy and stand at the top step of the World Endurance Championship this weekend. All right. Final race of the weekend, the Cup Series, the Enjoy Illinois 300 at Gateway Worldwide Technology Raceway St. Louis. I'm going with Penske this weekend. I think a lot of the media talking heads are going with Penske, but I mean, if you look at the stats don't lie. The stats don't waver. They're really good at freaking at Gateway. They're really good at these flat tracks. I think Blaney specifically is the best one. I think Blaney wins this weekend. He's gonna win. I mean, I think it's gonna be a dominant performance. I think we're gonna see a lot of what we saw at the Southern 500 with Briscoe with his dominant performance. I think we see that with Blaney this weekend. I think he's gonna be absolutely dominant. I think we'll see Logano, and I think we'll see Cedric both in the top 10 all day too. It could be a battle between all three of them for the win. To be honest with you guys, it could be between Logano and Blaney for the win. I think Blaney's gonna win. My dark horse, I'm gonna stay in the Ford camp. I'm gonna go with Ryan Preece. Uh, Something about this track just screams Ryan Preece to me. It's a short track. It's flat, low grip, multiple lanes, kind of uh, restart centric, I guess. I think this is a track that Ryan Preece can have a good run at. I think he's gonna be a top 10 threat, top 5 threat probably. And who knows, man? If they play their cards right, get some late race shenanigans. Maybe Blaney has some mistakes. They have good pit stops on their own end. Maybe Ryan Preece could win this race. That'd be crazy. That'd be big and much needed for RFK. All right, NASCAR fantasy lineup. I'm gonna go obviously all three Penske's. I'm gonna go Cindric, Blaney, and Logano. I think that's a no-brainer this weekend. Then I'm gonna go Bell and Briscoe. I just feel like I'm a little hesitant on the Bell pick. Bell just hasn't been impressive. Just really since the beginning of the year. I don't really know about the Bell pick. But Briscoe, I'm gonna take Briscoe. The pressure's off, man. This dude could just go out and rip, dude. He just go rip, dude. I'm take him. If I don't take Bell, I probably would put like Bubba Wallace on there, probably. But I'm gonna try and save him because I have a feeling he's gonna make a deep run this year in the playoffs. So you only get 5 uses for each driver, and I'm gonna save him towards the end. So we'll go with Bell this weekend. Matchups: Logano versus Hamlin. I'm going Logano. I think it's a Penske weekend, man. That's enough said. Then Cindric and Bell. Again, the unknown is Bell. I don't really know what to think about Bell right now. The speed and consistency hasn't been there. But I think Cindric's going to have a good run this weekend. I think he's going to be a top 10 threat all day. He's won here in the past. I mean, this is a great opportunity for Penske. The stats don't lie. I'm going to take him over Bell. Next one is Briscoe and Bowman. Bowman is cooked. The 48 team's cooked. Not even a freaking threat, I don't think. I'm going to take the 19 of Briscoe. And then it's Bubba versus Elliott. Again, not historically a good track for Hendrick. So I don't like the way that the 9 team is trending, especially towards the end of the year. Really started Watkins Glen and it just trended backwards for them since then. It's not the right time of the year to start getting cold, and they've gotten cold with that 9 team. And Bubba's on fire right now. Another great performance this weekend. I think that continues this weekend at a Gateway. Watch out for Bubba Wallace to be a threat up at the top 5 this weekend. I'm gonna take him over Elliott. Alrighty, guys. That's all I got for this week's podcast. Hopefully, you guys enjoyed those races this weekend and enjoyed listening to me here on this fine, awesome Tuesday evening. If you guys want to stay tuned and updated on the channel, follow us on all of our socials. All those links in the description below, as well as on our screen for you guys to go look us up and give us a follow. Stay up to date with everything happening here on this YouTube channel, as well as our link in our description to our Discord to join the best racing community on the internet. All the rumor, drama, news, memes, big daddy moments from all motorsports around the world right here on our Discord. Come post your own news, post your own information, chat with other people, communicate and chat with us. We love it when you guys do that. Come join the best racing community on the internet. Also in the description below is a link to our merch store. Go buy you some Dega Boys merch. All those proceeds continue to help us make bigger and better content for you guys here on YouTube. Also, a link down below to our Patreon if you guys want to support us over there. If you enjoy the content, you like the content we make every Tuesday with the podcast, and hopefully more content upcoming in the future once everything kind of settles down. Alrighty. Thank you guys so much again for tuning in. Make sure you guys hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, turn on notifications, stay up to date with our weekly podcast every Tuesday. It's at 8 p.m. Eastern time. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the races this weekend. and you guys enjoy the upcoming weekend's races. And I didn't mention it, but hopefully you guys had a great Labor Day weekend and had some fun, stayed out of trouble, got some good rest and relaxation as we kick off the end of summer. Thanks again for watching. I appreciate it. With that being said, we'll catch y'all in the next one.